Being funny must be great.
It's a personality trait that not only brings people around you to have a good time, but it also allows you to express yourself to others. And adding comedy to situations eases tension and helps the listeners be engaged. It doesn't seem like there are any negatives to it. Is having a sense of humor something that you can learn over time? I mean, I don't know. It's not like I have any experience in that field. You could try looking at successful comedians, movies, and friends, or searching for guides to try and acquire the skill. But why is there a constant pressure for being funny? For some, the thought of not being funny is haunting in the same way that the thought of being boring is haunting. Where every piece of interaction has to be the peak of comedy because otherwise they subconsciously feel like they're not enough or that the time with them isn't fun. On the internet, you'll stumble upon people that are not very funny, but try to be with every chance that they get, as well as people that bash on others trying to simply have a good time with humor. A person on the internet is a blank slate that starts being painted over, joining new groups or meeting new people. Once you gain the reputation of being funny in the group, everything you say is already expected to be an attempt at being funny because you're never taken seriously. This allows you to experiment and grow your sense of humor as you go. But when you're the blank slate, people don't know anything about you. So when you say something that should be considered funny somewhere else, it's not funny to newcomers. This is because it lacks the setup. You. You have to build yourself up every time you meet others for your humor to work. Many times people that have followings say things that are not even funny if anybody else said them but them. The implication that it's them saying it or the personal connection they have to it is what's funny, not the words themselves. So if you try to apply the same humor or jokes in multiple places, you will never have the same results. Unless it's relatable, or a meme, because that works differently. The thing with humor is that it's a gamble on whether the joke lands or not. If it does, you just add it to the experience, and if it doesn't, you'll look kinda stupid. When it comes to online comedy, you're dealing with professionals. People that have spent their lives searching and creating unimaginable forms of comedy. The ultimate judges to it is considered the pinnacle of the art, Twitter and Reddit. On these platforms, we value how funny someone is through interactions. Retweets and likes for Twitter, upvotes and awards for Reddit. Getting them is like injecting yourself with dopamine for some. These users are always at war with each other, but both are the same. It's just people posting memes they took from somewhere else or sharing stuff they think is funny. And getting interactions is tough. People usually go,
Huh, good content.
Nobody's obliged to follow anyone obviously, but with how freely available content is, it's hard to find something that hooks you enough to go all the way and follow someone. Which, imagine being in the public eye for a second. There are so many expectations once you've built a name for yourself in terms of how you act and what you say. The great part is the inside jokes and references you build that sometimes utilize sarcasm or irony. It's not a problem until people outside of the group start getting worked up over stuff that the group does understand as a joke. Many creators are usually very careful to specify what they mean with specific jokes to not take that risk. It starts to be a fear over not knowing if people will understand you or not. The issue goes even outside of just creators because some people plaster warnings for jokes all over the place to avoid conflict. And they are often longer than the joke itself. It's an insecurity that affects everyone because of how much judgment and aggressiveness there is when people are just trying to release some tension from the conversation. Not getting jokes or not liking them is fine. I don't even think jokes have to be funny all the time. Jokes are attempts and they can go either way. If it doesn't land, I don't think it should be the end of that person's life. They are used to just not sound so serious all the time. Of course, I'm not talking about all types of jokes because some are just dumb. Like if they infringe someone's rights, it's already bad. What I mean is, times have changed in the same way comedy has changed. But that shouldn't mean people need to be wary and attempt to appease everyone. Comedy is already hugely risk dependent, so even with the times, I think that we should try to be confident in what we put out there. I don't usually explain jokes or humor that I aim for, even if it leads to confusion and mixed reactions. If I look like a fool or unaware as to what's going on, that's alright. I just think comedy is very complex.
Alright, good job, great job, absolutely great. Time to wrap it up. Get out of here.